I never learned her name. That's the part that bothers me the most. If I knew her name, maybe I could prove she was real. Maybe I could prove I'm not losing my mind. But I don't. All I remember is her face and the empty seat. It happened during my senior year of high school. Nothing unusual, nothing supernatural. At least not at first. Every morning I rode bus 18. Same route, same driver, same students, same seat, every day. There was a girl who sat 3 rows ahead of me, window seat, always. She wore headphones constantly, never talked much, never caused trouble. Just another student. I wouldn't have remembered her at all if it weren't for what happened later. One rainy Tuesday morning I got on the bus and immediately noticed something strange. The seat was empty. Not weird by itself. People miss school all the time. The strange part was everyone else's reaction, or a lack of one. Nobody seemed to notice. For some reason that bothered me. I don't know why. The next day her seat was empty again. And the day after that, and the day after that. A week passed, it was still empty. Eventually I asked my friend Tyler. Actually, let's not call him Tyler. Let's call him Ben. I pointed toward the empty seat. Where's the girl that usually sits there? Ben looked confused. What girl? I laughed. The one who sits there every morning? He stared at me. Nobody sits there. I thought he was messing with me, but he wasn't smiling. He genuinely had no idea who I was talking about. That afternoon I looked through old photos on my phone. School events, football games, random pictures. I found one taken on the bus months earlier. There she was, 3 rows ahead, exactly where I remembered. I showed Ben. He looked terrified. Who's that? The question sent a chill down my spine. Because he wasn't pretending. He truly didn't recognize her. Not only that, nobody did. Over the next few days, I asked everyone. Friends, teachers, students. Nobody remembered her. Nobody recognized her. Nobody had ever seen her before. Even when I showed them the pictures, it was like looking at a stranger. Meanwhile, I started noticing other things, little things. In yearbook photos, she appeared, but her face looked blurry. In classroom pictures, she appeared, but nobody stood beside her, like people had unconsciously avoided her. The more I searched, the stranger it became. Then I found the attendance records, or rather, the lack of them. Her desk existed, but according to school records, nobody had ever been assigned to it. No student, no name, nothing. That should have been impossible, but somehow it wasn't. A few nights later, I had a dream. I was riding bus 18. Every seat was occupied except hers. Rain pounded against the windows. Nobody moved, nobody spoke. Then I noticed something standing outside. Or somebody. The girl. She stood in the middle of the road, watching the bus, watching me. Then she raised one hand and pointed, not at the bus, but at the empty seat. I woke up instantly. The next morning I got on the bus and froze. Someone was sitting there. Not the girl. Someone else. A boy. Nobody seemed to think it was unusual, but when I looked closer, he looked familiar. Very familiar. I couldn't place it. Then I realized why. I had seen him before, in old photos. The oldest photos I could find of the bus. Pictures taken years before I started high school. Pictures where the girl wasn't there. Pictures where he sat in that seat instead. Always the same seat. Always staring toward the camera. Always expressionless. My stomach dropped. I asked people about him. same result. Nobody knew who he was, nobody remembered him, and by the end of the week, the seat was empty again. Years have passed now. I've graduated, moved away, started a career. But every once in a while, I see a photo online. A classroom picture, a sports team, a wedding, a family reunion. And standing somewhere in the background, there's always someone nobody remembers. Someone who shouldn't be there. Someone whose face nobody recognizes, except me. And every time I find one, the person is looking directly at the camera, as if they're waiting for someone to notice, as if they're waiting for their turn to disappear. And the worst part, last month I found an old photo from high school. A bus photo. One I had looked at 100 times before. The girl's seat was empty. She wasn't there anymore. But I was, staring directly into the camera. And I don't remember that picture being taken.